Cranky Dave here. Well, the granddaddy of setbacks. I just connected my wiring and was going to attempt to try to just crank it over, check where I've got power, where I see if I've got fire, and oh my, where do I begin? First off, it cranked so hard. As soon as I touched the button, the start button up here, it started to crank, but it cranked extremely hard. And I let off the button. As soon as I let off the button, nothing changed. It continued to crank and crank and crank. I had to quick come over here and get a tool on there and disconnect my negative ground to get it to stop cranking. By the time I got there, it was starter was smoking and it was almost giving up. Furthermore, I tried to crank it over by kicking it, and while it turns over, it just seems to turn over way harder than it did before. I mean, it is tight. There's no spark plugs in it. I should be able to push this and turn it over with relative ease. And literally standing on it with all of my pressure, I still have to release the clutch so that I can get it about halfway down before I can actually get it to crank. And now it cranks way better. Isn't that strange? So there's something goofy, but the other thing I discovered is as I'm cranking, you can hear some air blowing out of number 2 back here, but I've concluded I've got no compression on number 1. And to add insult to injury, as I'm standing here and admiring this wrinkle finish black on here, I notice a streak in the finish, and I'm looking at it going, what in the heck is that? Something like something drooled on it. And I look up here, and sure enough, this brand new master cylinder is dripping somewhere. Not exactly sure where, but it's not a lot, and it's just enough to be another source of aggravation. But they say these motorcycles teach you patience, perseverance. Boy, I tell you what, I've put a lot of energy into this son of a gun, and I can assure you it takes patience, because I want to ride this thing and ride it soon. And now it's looking more like tank's coming back off, and we're going to have to tear the top end off of this thing and see what the heck is going on. But I know we're getting oil passage through it. From kicking it over yesterday, I'm not seeing any flicker of the oil pressure gauge, but I am seeing the oil return in the tank. The oil tank is gurgling as I'm cranking it over, so I know we're pushing oil through the motor. I'm hoping that maybe I've just got a stuck valve on number 1. Cross my fingers. We'll see if we get lucky.